Good morning and welcome back to the channel. This is of course the 2019 Chevy Blazer. It's a cool looking design. You know, it's a new Chevy design. They use this design language on the new Silverado and it kind of looks like a Camaro, but they just heightened the front of it, which the Camaro, to me, when I first saw it, I didn't really like it, but then I saw it in real life and it's kind of grown on me. So maybe this will do that too. But at the same time, there's a lot going on in this front right here. I do really like that Chevy is trying something new and they're trying to reinvent their design language. It's really cool, and one huge trend right now, a bunch of different car manufacturers are doing this right now. So they have some daytime running lights up here, and then they have the main headlight assembly down here. So this is actually the headlights down here, and these up here are just there to look very sinister and aggressive with that squinty eyes that you have the Camaro as well. But that looks cool. I'm fine with that. The problem that I have with this design is there are too many lines going on in the front. There are lines everywhere. You have one line going here, and then that connects to that right there. And then the problem with this is you have the height of this, and any curve, any edge or corner that meets in the exact middle of something, 50% of the height, that to me does not look good. So I either want to move this point up or down, and that's what I'm gonna do later on in the video, of course. And also another thing, we have this black, this is one of the Chevy trademarks right now, I guess, to have the whole front be black, so all the way down, and there's not one part of body panel that connects the two sides. So if you think about the coloring of this car, it's obviously a red or burgundy car. You don't have any burgundy pieces connecting that part with this burgundy part over here. So what I want to do is try to connect them maybe down here with just making this black plastic down here, make that into body color. That way we connect the two sides in just somewhere. I just want that connection to be somewhere on the design. I really do like these daylight running times lights and the overall design of this car. We have this kind of reminds me of a Volvo XC40 with this. This is also a trend to have the C-pillar being cut like this right here. It looks cool. It kind of works well when you have two tones. So some cars have the roof being white and then you have the main color of the rest of the car and stuff like that, and it works great in this case as well. I also like these blacked out A-pillars right here. It kind of looks like the windshield or windscreen is floating around like a Koenigsegg or something like that. But one problem that I'm going to change as well, another thing that I'm going to change as well on this car is are the wheels. Because to me, it's a Chevy Blazer. So if we look back at Chevy Blazers throughout history and throughout time, to me, they are not, this looks more like an MPV and less like an off-roader car. And a Blazer to me is more towards an SUV or a off-roader and less towards something else. So it's what it is right here. So what I want to do, simple change to fix that, is to just change these wheels. So that's what I'm gonna do as well. Now let's jump into the redesign of this video, of this Blazer, and let's see how it's going to turn out. All right, here we go. This is of course the 2019 Chevy Blazer, and I'm going to start by just explore and experiment with some lines, especially the key lines that I didn't like on the production vehicle. The first one, of course, being the 50-50 line that I mentioned in the intro, where you have two lines meeting at the exact middle of the height of the two lines, if that makes sense. And I want to bring that point down. I could either choose to bring it up. If you go back and look in the intro, you know what I'm talking about. I can bring it up or I can bring it down, but in this case I decided to bring the meeting point for these two lines down and make it lower, and also have the headlights are going to be inside of this area that sits right underneath the daytime running lights. Now, if I could choose any Blazer that I want, it would most definitely be one of the earliest ones. Probably early 70s or somewhere around that, and I would lift it up just a little bit and it would probably be black. The problem with today's cars is they all look so generic. Every single car that comes out, especially if you go inside and sit inside of it, they all look very, very similar and boring. So if you take, for example, the old Blazer and you bring it to life in 2019, it really has nothing to do with the original Blazer except for the marketing in the name Blazer. But to me, this is more of an MPV and less of the original off-roader, which you can actually take the whole roof off, and more of a beach car feel. This is more of a luxury refined MPV something. I don't know what it is, but it's not, to me, it's not a Blazer. And this can be said about so many new cars that use old names. But one car that I'm really excited about is the new Ford Bronco. To me, that really looks different, and it doesn't look like another Ford. This looks like a Camaro or an Equinox or whatever, but the new Bronco doesn't look like a Ford. It's like the Ford GT. They completely took the old original and turned it into something beautiful and modern. And I hope they're gonna do the same with the Bronco. They just take the same design language from the 70s, bring it in and modernize it today without having to think too much about the brand identity and have it look like every other car that's in the model range. I like this position of the headlights. They look more integrated in the design, and we don't have that those two different angles coming from the daytime running lights and the headlights. Right now they both tilt inwards instead of the headlights tilting out towards the front wheels, and I like that better. Also, as I mentioned in the intro, I want to connect the two sides, and I'm going to do that by coloring the lower black piece that's down here, make that into body color. And the reason for that is to just have some sort of connection between the two sides. Otherwise it looks to me like it's just a massive black hole in the middle, and there is no, it kind of weakens the design and the structure of the design when you don't have that something connecting them and kind of strengthen the front part and looks like they actually belong together. I also added this tiny curve into the lower part of the grille, because if you look underneath the headlight, there is a curvature there, and I want that curvature to continue into the grille, and that means that we have some body part sticking into that part of the lower part of the grille. Working on the shading and the highlights of the headlights, trying to make it look like the original with the black outside piece going around it, and I think that looks better than just having nothing around it. You kind of have to figure out how this thing would be assembled. So think of it as a headlight assembly that you would be able to remove and replace if you wanted to. So that means that it needs to have cut lines and also this black piece around it, make it look like it's a unit or an assembly. So of course we have to do the same thing on the opposite side. We have to figure out how this design translates into this perspective on the far side. And it's pretty easy with this sketch, because all I gotta do is move the headlights back in and then create this chamfer edge on the far side of the headlight. And then of course redesign the whole headlight assembly itself, and that's about it. Then we have the same design on each side of this car. Painting light bulbs or lights, it's probably one of the hardest things or most challenging things, because there are so many things going on in there. You have a ton of reflections and stuff, so you have to kind of think about what kind of light bulb or what kind of light you want to visualize before you start sketching. And then you have to think about the glass that sits on top of the light bulb itself. That too needs a reflection, so you need to add these layers of depth, and you do that by adding reflection upon reflection for each single surface that goes in a headlight assembly. So this is what I was talking about, connecting the two sides. Very simple, just keep it clean, make it body color, and I think that looks a lot better than having it black. It strengthens the structural feeling of the front, and it just makes it look stronger. One final touch before we are done with this redesign is obviously the wheels. These wheels look like they came straight off a Chrysler Pacifica or something like that, and that needs to change, because if you look at the back and the side of this car, it says Blazer, so we need to have some sort of blazery wheels, and by that I mean off-road wheels, and that's what I'm going to do right here. Simple change, but it makes a huge difference in the appearance of this car. And here, of course, is before and after. We don't have to go crazy with this design. It's a good design to start with. I just thought that the front had too many lines going on and I wanted to clean it up. And that's exactly what I did here. I hope you enjoyed this video just as much as I enjoyed making it. I'm the Sketch Monkey. I hope you have a fantastic day. And if you like this kind of videos, feel free to browse around my playlist called Car Makeovers. I have a bunch of these videos in there. I think you're gonna enjoy them. I've already made redesigns of the Silverado HD and the Camaro SS, and I'm gonna link those videos in the description below. I hope to see you next time. Take it easy, guys.